Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Good evening,
sir.
all of you.
Yes, sir. Sir, you can start your valedictory address for this international online
Yeah,
conference.
sure. Thank you very much. For the last 2 days, yesterday and today, threadbare discussions took place, and very useful, the deliberations that are taking place. I have gone through all those things, excellent inputs, and the paper presentations also really excellent. I really congratulate Professor Dr. Darling Selvi Madam, convener, and Dr. Anita Madam, Dr. Mini Marian Madam, and the whole, the entire, the program behind the scene is none other than Professor Sumandaran, and he is the man of, the organizing all these 2 days, the activity and all that. It is really, credit goes to him, and organized very nicely. I really congratulate you, sir, Professor Suman, sir, and really excellent. You have conducted these sessions, very fruitful discussions took place for the last 2 days, and it's really fantastic. Now, let us, because you have given me the time for 15 minutes, so I will stick to the overview of the corporate social responsibility. So, since the time is very less, a positive time, just I'll give you an overview of it. Now, when you talk about the CSR, majority of the people, even in India, of course, it is mandatory to implement the CSR from 2013 Companies Act. 2% of the profits they are supposed to spend, the corporates are supposed to spend in the service activities and all that. And majority of the people, the people know about the CSR, and they have the awareness of all the spending of the profits out of earnings. Only 2% of the profits they are going to, corporates are going to spend on service activity. That much only in India, the community awareness is there. But there are other dimensions, the dimensions are also there when you talk about the CSR. In terms of the banking activities, in terms of the marketing management, marketing concepts point of view, entrepreneurship point of view. If you talk about, there are other domains of the CSR activities are also there. When you talk about the marketing management and the marketing concept, marketing in terms of marketing concept and all that, the CSR, the marketing, say for example, manufacturer, when he produces, usually always any manufacturer will always think that for providing good product, and at the same time he wants to earn more and more profits. So when he wants to more and more profits, usually he cannot the inferior quality of raw material cannot be used. If they use the inferior quality of raw materials for his production, then the loyalty of the loyal customer he cannot get, and the community also cannot go towards his product and all that. So that is why he cannot sell in the market, and he cannot sustain in the market. He will be thrown out, because we have seen, we know that in the market, so many, the substitutes, number of substitutes for one product go on coming. So in the threat of competition is there. So when threat of competition is there, at the same time, the cost of product the manufacturer has to take into his mind. That is one area aspect. At the same time, the cost of the product has to be minimized, and the profits are to be earned. So that is why both has to be balanced. The manufacturer has to balance both. One is the cost of product, another one is the service, and the quality of the product also has to be maintained. Because as I told you, as I mentioned just now, there is a threat of a lot of competition, cutthroat competition. Sometimes we can see in the market. If that is the situation, the CSR, how it applies in the marketing management means, see, the CSR is the marketing management, a good quality of the product. We always, as I mentioned just now, we always think about the CSR spending of profits, some 2% of profits we spending in some various service activities, or almost 10 to 15 service activities are identified. It's not only that one. Here, the marketing side and the manufacturer side, when you talk about, so then here he has to provide a good quality of the product. At the same time, that good quality of the product, when he provides, the loyalty customer he can get, as I mentioned. So that is why here the costs are very, very important, cost effective. He has to go into that, and he has to observe about the cost effective and all that. So costs have to be minimized, and then he can maximize the profits. At the same time, another important thing is the costs can be controlled by, all of you know, the minimization of wastages and all that. When you minimize the waste, the percentage of minimization of wastages definitely will be reflected on the profits. So definitely that has to be, as I told you, as I mentioned, that these two things have to be balanced by the manufacturer. That is one aspect thing. And the social responsibility in this context, the social responsibility to the manufacturer in the market is that he has to provide a good quality of product, and that should not be the harmful to the society. That is the social responsibility. It's not that always spending the profit margin, some portion of the profit spending on various activities. It is the responsibility. Another dimension, what I told, the social responsibility is to provide, is to supply the good quality of the product to the, or to be supplied to the consumers or to the communities. So that is also his moral responsibility. Always he should not think about the maximization of profits. At the same time, he should not forget that he should have the moral responsibility that he has to provide the good quality of the product and all that. That is one area. And the second area, when you come to the banking sector, financial markets are concerned. In the financial markets today, I'm sorry to tell you, in the financial markets, the MSMEs are there in India. MSMEs, micro, medium and small scale industries are there in India. Today, they are suffering a lot with the lack of working capital. So the working capital, banks, financial markets are providing. I'm not saying that they're not providing it, but the working capital that they are providing is not on time. They're not receiving it on time. So for example, I'll tell you, when the financial when they get the loan for the purpose of for meeting the day-to-day expenses for working capital, so that will get those loans will get after the demand. By the time they get the loan for working capital management, what happens, the demand will go in the market. So my point is, my viewpoint is that the financial markets of banks should give whenever they apply loan for the meeting of the working capital, immediately the process has to be completed and should be sanction the loan on time, so that what happens, they can get the loan on time and they can meet the working capital requirements, and they can sell their product in the market, and they can get profits, and they can also ensure that the quality of the product and all that. Because they are not getting the working capital loans and all that on time, what is happening, they are doing some, the loans and all that, they are bringing for a higher rate of interest and all that, and the quality, the raw material prices also alarmingly increasing day by day. So that is all the matters that the manufacturer is not in a position to supply a quality. Sometimes he is forced to use for production an inferior quality of material. This is a condition that is going on. That is why many MSMEs are not encouraging today. Of course, it's not that all, I'm not talking about generalizing, but majority of the MSMEs are facing this working capital management since they are not getting on time. That is one area aspect that I would like to tell. Otherwise, if they get on time, then definitely they can provide a good quality of the product, and to the community, whatever community requirement is very important. Community requirement in the last 2 days, today and yesterday also took place a lot of discussions with regard to consumer loyalty, customer loyalty, and the traditions, culture, all that we took, discussions are took place. Very nice, excellent, wonderful, beauty of the discussion. So these are all the things that are happening. Means when it happens, when MSME, they get the loan, the working capital or whatever loan they applied for that, for their meeting the expenses, when they get on time, definitely they will ensure all these things. So that is why as far as financial markets are concerned, that is the situation that the corporate social responsibility from banking sector financial markets point of view, financial market side, they need to improve the situations. That is one important area. I'm not saying that banks are not giving or banks are not coming forward and all that. And yesterday, Professor Sumandar sir rightly stated that why don't you have your own demand, your own, the brand image and all that. It's very good. It's very good. They have to think about it. It's a very good suggestion. I welcome it, really. So from banks and financial institutions, markets point of view, markets side, these are all the things that they have to be taken care. And you have the entrepreneurial edge. Entrepreneurial edge, when you take about, the entrepreneurship should develop under the MSMEs only, because manufacturing in India lacking manufacturing. So manufacturing is lacking with us. So that has to be improved. So government, the present government is encouraging about making in India and all that. It's a good initiative. So here the manufacturing means manufacturing on what basis the manufacturing has to take place, on the basis of traditions, customs, and the habits. All these things should be taken into consideration. It's not that the will and wish of the manufacturer. It's not if he produces according to his will and wish, he cannot sell in the market. That he knows about it. But at the same time, see in a particular area, if you take, in a region, if you take, so what are the requirements of the community over there? That has to be identified, and accordingly the production, the requirements, according to the requirements of the community or regions in that area, they have to manufacture the production, so that there will be no question of the shortage of sales and all that. That will be continued. Sustainability, when it comes, once you provide the supply, or once you supply the products, then sustainability is also very important. That means when the sustainability will be there, if you go on the manufacture, go on supply a good quality of the product, and at the same time at a lesser price, as I mentioned a few minutes back, so then definitely sustainability will be there. So, but the compactness of the product also, nowadays we are using so much of technology and all that. So the technology and the new machines and new adoption of technology, as and when it emerges, we need to take into consideration, and we have to adapt it, so that then only we can give a compactness of the product and all that, the beauty of the product, and compactness and more features the manufacturer can provide through his distribution of channel. So that is what is important. So for that, the sustainability is a matter. It's not a problem at all. That can be taken into consideration. But before that, what we have to do is the quality is to be maintained, and the prices are to be taken into consideration on the basis of local requirements, local affordability. These are all the things that we need to take into consideration. These things are to be kept in the mind of the manufacturer, either whether he is an MSME or the capital intensive other industries, whatever it is. So the customer is the main king. Customer is the king, and customer perception should know time to time by the manufacturer, and accordingly the changes are to be taken into consideration. The changes or modifications are to be made to his particular product. So then only it is possible. Otherwise, there is no question of sustainability. You cannot sell, and definitely it will come down. So that is one area. And come to the another important area that we have, the innovations. So the innovations today, the CSR as giving the importance, the CSR portions or the CSR investment. I'm not saying I don't agree with the investments of CSR. I only say that I agree, I believe that CSR spending. It's not that the CSR investments. I'm sorry, I am not agreeing the investment, because we are not get out of CSR. You are not going to get anything. You are spending in service activities. How do you expect something after spending in towards a service activity? You cannot expect something from them. So if you expect something, it will not come under CSR, to my mind, to my knowledge. So that is why let us talk about the CSR as a spending in development activities, service activities. So when you spend the innovations also one of the important domain nowadays, that the CSR funds can be transferred or can be spent towards the innovations and all that. Today we all talk about AI, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, machine learning and all that. These are all the things. Why can't the corporates let them invest, let them spend the amounts in the rural areas, where there are connectivity problems, where there are electricity problems, where there are, the technological problems, let them go and SEZs in the new